Welcome to the Explainer. Let's kick things off with a pretty terrifying misconception. Most people think that if you make a mistake sending a digital wire transfer, your bank will just catch the error and hit a magical undo button. Well, they won't. Today, we are diving into a tool that is incredibly powerful, but has absolutely zero room for error: sending a wire transfer through Capital One. When you need to move massive amounts of money instantly, like, say, closing on a house, this is the ultimate way to do it. So let's get into it. Picture this. What actually happens if you make a single tiny typo when sending $50,000? You're rushing, you accidentally flip 2 digits in the account number, and you hit submit. Do you get a warning? Does the bank stop it? We're so used to fraud alerts and chargebacks these days, but the reality of a wire transfer typo is genuinely shocking. The reason a typo is so disastrous comes down to something called the rule of number dominance. This is a strict rule under the Uniform Commercial Code. Basically, it means if there's a mismatch between the name of the person you're sending money to and the account numbers you typed in, the numbers always win. The bank is legally allowed to process the wire based solely on the account and routing numbers. They don't have to verify the name at all. So a simple typo can permanently send your funds to a complete stranger, and Capital One has absolutely zero institutional liability to get it back for you. To make sure that never happens to you, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with preparing your wire transfer, then walk through a step-by-step execution guide. After that, we'll cover tracking and troubleshooting and wrap up with some crucial tips and a quick disclaimer. All right, part 1, preparing your wire transfer, knowing your limits, fees, and requirements. It's really interesting how Capital One breaks down its fees and limits based on the type of account you have and exactly who you're paying. So, for a standard personal checking account, you're looking at a $30 flat fee for an outgoing domestic wire, with a daily online limit of $50,000. Got a basic business checking account? That fee drops to $25, keeping the same $50K limit. But here's the crazy part. If you're wiring money to a verified title company, which is super common when you're buying real estate, Capital One actually bumps that online daily limit up to a massive $500,000. Before you send a dime, though, we need to talk about the number 30. This is Capital One's 30-day external account verification rule. If you're trying to wire money to another bank account that you own, that external account has to have been linked and verified on Capital One's system for at least 30 consecutive days. Why the hassle? It is an absolutely brilliant defense against account takeover scams. If a hacker somehow breaches your account, this rule literally stops them from just wiring your life savings to their own newly added bank account. It buys you a 30-day window to catch the breach. Okay, so your accounts are ready. Here is the literal, unforgiving checklist of data points you need. And remember, you cannot guess these. You need the recipient's full legal name, no nicknames whatsoever. You need full physical addresses for both the recipient and their bank, because P.O. boxes usually won't work. You need the exact 9-digit ABA wire routing number, and obviously the exact account number. Pull every single piece of this information directly from an official invoice or straight from the receiving bank. Moving right along to part 2, this step-by-step guide, executing your transfer online. I will say, Capital One has done a fantastic job streamlining this interface. Here is your journey through the portal. Step 1, you just log in, click into the specific account you're pulling the funds from, and hit Account Services and Settings. Step 2, click on the Wire Money link. Step 3, carefully type in that entire recipient checklist we just went over. And Step 4, this is the big one, multi-factor authentication. You absolutely must have your registered cell phone on you. They're going to text or push a code to your phone to finalize it. No phone, no wire transfer. Now, timing is literally everything. The daily cutoff for Capital One online domestic wires is 2 p.m. Eastern Time, sharp, on standard business days. If you submit and authenticate before 2 p.m., your money goes through the FedWire system and almost always lands in the recipient's account that exact same day. But if you hit submit at 2:01 p.m., your transfer gets stuck in a holding queue overnight and won't process until the next business day. If you do that on a Friday afternoon, well, your money isn't moving an inch until Monday. And we definitely need to flag a major limitation that catches so many people off guard. If you have a personal account, you literally cannot send an international wire online. It is just not an option in their digital portal. To send money internationally from a personal account, you have to physically drive to a Capital One branch before their 3 p.m. cutoff, and you're going to get hit with a higher $40 fee. All right, part 3, tracking and troubleshooting. What to do after hitting submit. The good news is Capital One offers some really great real-time tracking once that wire is out of your hands. You can go into your profile and turn on SMS text notifications, in-app push alerts, or get automated email receipts. It gives you a ton of peace of mind to know the exact second those funds clear the system. But hey, what if you realize you made a terrible mistake the second you hit submit? Well, domestic wires run on the Fedwire network, which uses real-time, irreversible gross settlement. Translation, it's completely irreversible. You cannot cancel or modify it once it's sent, period. International wires, however, go through the SWIFT network, and they actually come with a strict 30-minute hold window. So if you spot an error on an international wire right away, you have a very brief half-hour window to call the branch and cancel the whole thing.
Listen, if you ever even suspect a scam or think someone got unauthorized access to your account, do not hesitate. Call the Capital One fraud response team immediately at 1-877-383-4802. They'll try administrative recall efforts, but like we just talked about, getting a domestic wire back is incredibly difficult, so speed is everything.
Finally, part 4, crucial tips in our final disclaimer for your security. If you take only one single thing away from this entire explainer, let it be this: never, ever guess the routing number. The ABA wire routing number is very often totally different from the ACH or direct deposit routing number you see sitting at the bottom of a paper check. If you try to use an ACH number for a wire, it's either going to fail, get stuck in banking limbo, or get routed to the wrong place entirely. Always ask your recipient specifically for their wire routing instructions. And as with anything finance-related, we have to throw in this quick disclaimer. Banking rules, fees, and security limits are fluid. Everything we talked about today is based on Capital One's current guidelines, but things can absolutely change depending on your specific account tier or new bank policies. Always verify the most up-to-date procedures right inside your Capital One portal before you move any large sums of money. So, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. We live in a world of instant digital money, where it's so easy to dispute an app payment or reverse a credit card charge. Is the totally unforgiving finality of a wire transfer its biggest flaw, or is it actually its ultimate security feature? The sheer fact that it can't be undone is exactly why major corporations and title companies rely on it for $500,000 transactions. It literally demands your absolute attention and precision. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy and very careful wiring.